welcome everyone. There's a couple of us here. That's pretty cool. So this is about an absolute beginner's guide to joining fleets and operating as part of a fleet. Fleets are mega important to our alliance. They get all of the space work done. They defend our structures, our space, and it's also the main source of content. So to have a bit of fun, people put up fun fleets. There's straddle fleets, serious ones to fight a threat or an enemy. But in either case, they are the social construct of life in nullsec. So joining fleets is super important. Even if you're not in a fleet, you should be in the standing fleet at all times if you're active in space. This will allow people to help you if you get stuck, and is also sort of just a general chat channel while people are hanging about doing their thing. So yeah. I have posted the fleet advert in Alliance chat. If you're not already in it, please join the fleet. So you can click the blue text in Alliance to join the fleet. It says Dojo Intro to Fleets. If you know how to use the Fleet Finder, you can go ahead and use that too, but that's the easiest way to join. Most of the time, important fleets will be posted in Alliance, so if someone wants extra numbers for a fleet to go do something, they'll post it. Otherwise, everything else is advertised on Slack. So there is a Slack channel for various types of pings. So you probably saw this one in the Dojo Pings channel. There's a Pings Fun, there's Pings Stratop, mining pings, there's moon pings for doing mining, for moon goo. So lots of different types of pings, but the most important ones are the fun pings and the straddle pings. They're the ones that you really want to have on notifications on your phone or your computer. So is anyone having trouble joining the fleet? Okay, I think we're all in. That's good. Okay, so just to confirm, we're all in the C4C TAC Z4 Keepstar, the Sanctuary Institute of Paleo. We're in there. A few people saying yes, that's good. Just get out a cheap ship. Just make sure that you have a micro warp drive fitted to your ship, whatever that might be, because we will be getting out and about and practicing some stuff in a practical sense, rather than just me speaking at you for an hour. We'll be getting out and doing some things. Full disclosure, I'm not a Brave FC, but I do see things in Brave fleets that we really shouldn't be doing, and it's good practice just to get the right things happening from the get-go, just to make sure that you're being an effective part of the fleet rather than the FC trying to worry about where you are and what you're doing. It definitely helps to make sure you're trying to do the right thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to drop some things in the fleet chat here. So I've dropped a little UI pointer thing in here. So in the event that you're trying to find a fleet that's been put up, you want to go to the fleet window. So on the left hand side in your Neocom menu, there's 3 chevrons that says fleet, create, find and join fleets. This opens a little fleet window. Because you're already in a fleet, it's probably already open, but if in the event that it's closed, that's where you find it. And all available fleets are in there. Bear in mind, you don't just want to go joining any old fleet, you only want to join Alliance fleets, so B2 Alliance fleets. So that's fleets created by Brave or by Volta or Blob, basically. So if you join neutral fleets, they are at your own risk. So please be careful of that. So there's a couple of tabs in the fleet window here that we really want to have a look at here. So there's a fleet window that shows the fleet composition of who is in the fleet at the moment. So we're all in there. I'm the fleet commander and everyone else is in squad 1. This can change depending on what type of fleet you're doing. So just as a point of reference, for larger fleets, sometimes the Logi wing or the logistics wing, the healers, will be in their own wing, so they don't get warped around with the DPS fleet. Sometimes if you do decide to get involved in some Brave SIGs or special interest groups, things like the Black Ops group, which I'm a part of, which is great fun, the Blopsing battleship will be in a different part of the wing, so it's not warped around with the rest of the bombers, basically. So this can change, but usually just dropped straight into Squad 1 by default. The next one along is the broadcast window. This is where you'll spend most of your time in a fleet. So I'm just going to put a UI pointer to that, so you can click that if you don't know where it is. That'll show you where it is. So this is where you'll find your FC and your teammates communicating each other in a very quick and concise manner. So if someone is telling your fleet to go somewhere, it'll be in here. If someone is saying shoot this, it'll be in here. If someone's saying I need shields or I need armor repairs, it'll be in here as well. It's a bunch of buttons on here, but we'll touch on that in a minute. Respawn points, don't worry about that. That's really kind of advanced stuff. If you have a clone bay installed in a raw core, for argument's sake, like a capital mining ship. Raw cores haven't been used in Brave for a while, but we might be getting back there soon. And you find like a find fleets thing there as well if you want to switch fleets, but don't do that for now. But for now, everyone just switch back to the broadcast tab, because that's where we're going to be spending most of our time, so that's good. Alright, so we're going to go through the fleet MOTD, so I'm just going to update that just to an example MOTD of something that you might see. Alright, so if it hasn't already updated, your channel MOTD should have just reposted. And I've just made a dummy sort of fleet composition here for caracals, or caracools as they're sometimes called. And there's a few things that are always mentioned in here that we really need to take really notice of when joining the fleet, and we're going to go through them. So inevitably the ship types are always listed, and this is usually in the ping as well. So if let's say a Stratop ping goes out, hey, I need zealots, for argument's sake. There might be armor hacks might be posted, so if you can fly a Demos or a zealot, that might be posted as an armor hack. Might be caracals, it might be wind runners. Each ship type or doctrine has its own kind of special name, and you'll kind of get to learn those as you play with us for a while. But for this time, it's caracals. So in ship types, we're looking at caracals, Logi, Tackle, and E-War. And there's sort of a descending level of importance there. So we want lots of caracals, lots of damage, Logi next important, Tackle, and E-War. Sometimes they can be mixed around because FCs are always begging for Logi pilots, so they might put Logi first. If you can fly a Logi cruiser, they'll tend to put you in a Logi cruiser first rather than a caracal. You can always offer to change. The FC will tell you what they want because they can see what people are inside the fleet, so they will tell you. And then they'll tell you the ship fits that are required here. So if everyone could please click on the primary DPS fitting, which is the dock tripod optimal, if everyone can see that. So yeah, this is the doctrine fit for the caracal, the tripod optimal fit. So this is the Tech 2 version. There are new bro and sort of intermediate versions of this as well in the fitting window, but this is the optimal one. So this is the one that the FC would like to see, but you are obviously welcome to join a fleet with the new bro version or the intermediate version if you can't quite get to Tech 2 yet. That is totally cool, but it's important that you fly the ship that is prescribed. There's a few reasons for that. Is that if you have a different ship than what is required, it'll go at a different speed than what the rest of the ships are going at. You'll do a different type of damage. You'll have different weaknesses in your shields and armor. So it is very, very important that you do fly what the FC is telling you to fly. If you can't fly the mainline DPS ship, you could always do a tackle or an E-War like a Griffin, or you can fly like a Condor or something like that, like a Tech 1 frigate, the fast frigate to nail targets down. FCs always appreciate that, although tackle is a little more difficult than it sounds, and you always end up dying. But it's always a welcome addition to a fleet. There's also the Brave Universal Logi ship, the Bull ship. That's the Osprey. That's there as well. So if you can fly that with good skills, you should do so. When there is Logi prescribed, there's always a Logi channel posted as well, which I haven't put in here because I don't want people joining it, but the Logi channel is where you should join to set up your logi, like capacitor transfers and stuff, but that's kind of outside the scope of this session. Nata or Mand runs some really great Logi 101 sessions, so if you are around and one is pinged, I highly recommend doing that. I did one myself recently, it was really good. So yeah, if you can fly Logi, do so. The comms will be posted as well, so make sure you're in the right comms channel. So often it'll be Alpha or Bravo or Charlie comms, but if you open your Mumble window, you'll just see where everyone is moving to. So if your fleet is called and there's plenty of people in Alpha channel, it's probably going to be that one, but always make sure you're in the right channel, otherwise you won't hear what the FC is telling you to do. And finally, you have anchors. So this is quite important, so make sure there is an anchor there. If there is no anchor, you need to ask for one. It's always a good question to ask of who the anchor is, and we'll get to what anchoring means in a minute, but the anchor is usually the FC, but there's sometimes a secondary anchor as well. If it's a big fleet and we're likely to come up to resistance, a secondary anchor is always there. So that's we'll get to that in a minute, but just have that there just for when we undock and start zooming about. Okay, so there's a few must-dos. So when you first join a fleet, there's some things that you really must do. Always check your ship fit. So if you have a caracal in your hangar and the FC calls for caracals, open the fit and double check your ship fit against what the FC is asking for. It's good practice if you modify these fits to put them back to doctrine when you dock up again, but sometimes people forget. You'll get into good practice of making sure you do that and like refilling ammo and stuff like that, but make sure your fit is correct. If the fit says afterburner, make sure you don't have a WMD fitted, for argument's sake. So make sure your fit matches what the FC is asking for. Make sure you have the correct ammo in cargo. Make sure you have enough ammo as well. You can always ask if you need, in chat, in fleet chat, if you need bashing ammo, if you're going to go shoot structures for a while. You just buy cheap ammo off the market or from what you've got in your hangar. And just check you have the correct drones as well. So if you're not sure, ask, but most of the time the fits will have drones prescribed for you, but just make sure you have the right drones in your cargo. And lastly, make sure your ship is insured. Very important when you apply for SRP, or the ship replacement program. If your ship dies during a fleet operation, Brave will pay you for your ship, or at least a small part of it. If you have the wrong fit, your payouts are reduced dramatically. So for argument's sake, I flew a Munin some months ago in a Stratop fleet. I had the wrong rigs installed in my Munin, and only got 25% of the payout because I had the wrong rigs installed. So make sure that you have the right fit, and make sure it's insured as well, definitely, because if you do blow up, that money is taken into account. And just good practice, if you're on a sensitive thing like a Stratop fleet, just stay docked until the FC tells you to undock, and this is so spies can't see what's going on. Basically, it just delays that information to the enemy as much as possible, because there's spies everywhere. I mean, it's a thing, but just stay docked until the FC tells you to undock. You know, sometimes fleets don't even go ahead if the enemy stands down or the objective no longer is there. There's no point undocking, but yeah, stay docked. So I just want to make sure that everyone is in a cheap T1 frigate or a destroyer with a micro warp drive fitted. Just throw some letters in fleet chat if you're if you're ready to go. I think that's most of us. Okay, so we're going to start learning about some of the terminology that FCs will use, and it's important to recognize these and just be alert. It's alright, Sinister, we're not going anywhere just yet, so it's okay, but we're going to just start practicing some of the stuff FCs are going to say and what that kind of means. So in a second, we're going to undock, and we're going to stop our ships. So if you don't know how to stop your ship, just click the little minus symbol to the left of the ship speed indicator at the bottom of your screen, if you haven't moved it about, that is. But or you could just press Control Space to stop your ship. So what we're going to do is the FC will say fleet undock, and that's when you would undock, or they might just shout undock, something like that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and undock. So fleet undock. and just stop your ships for now. Okay, looks like we're all on the undock. That's cool. One of the most annoying things about the Keepstar is it has so many docking ports, and we're kind of spread out, so you can see on the front of the Keepstar here. So from myself all the way over to Old Man Winter and Sinister over there, it's 36 kilometers, so it's a fair wide old structure. Alright, so we're just going to make sure we've got our windows set up here. Now that we're undocked and active in space, we're going to set up a couple of things that are really, really, really important. So first of all is we're going to set up our watch list. So the watch list is ultra important. You always want to set up your watch list as soon as you undock. So to do this, we're going to in the fleet window, the fleet commander. You can see my name at the top of the list there. You want to right click. You want to right click that one. And where is it? Oh, I can't add myself to a watch list, of course. So you want to right click me. There'll be a fleet. Or a pilot, then fleet, and then add to watch list. So you may want to make sure you're adding me to a watch list, or add your FC to a watch list. Has everyone got that? That's probably the most important bit of undocking. You can also do this from the fleet chat window as well. You can right click the person, but if there's a 200-man fleet, it's a little hard to find the FC in that list sometimes. So again, that's right click that person's name, fleet, add to watch list. Has everyone got that handy, all sorted? So if you're you can always tell you're in the same system as your FC because you can see the 3 little white bars against my name. That means you're in the same system as your FC. If it's empty next to my name, so no 3 white bars, you're not in the same system as your FC, so you can't sort of perform actions on your FC in that event. But it's always a nice little indicator just to make sure you're in the right place, is making sure you're in. You can see those hull, armor, and shield bars. The other window we want open is our fleet broadcast window. So that's the window we were alluding to earlier. Just to make sure everyone has it open, if you could, everyone could please broadcast for shield reps. So on the bottom of that window, there's a bunch of buttons. It's broadcast need shields. Looks like a little shield with half of it coloured in. Awesome. So we'll get into broadcasting for reps in a little bit, but yeah, broadcasting is as a member of a fleet, you generally don't need to broadcast unless you're broadcasting for reps. The FC will broadcast quite a lot about telling you what to do, where to go, and what to shoot. But you can broadcast for shield, for armor, and for capacitor as well. They're the main ones you'll want to use. The other thing we would like to do is color code our broadcasts. I'm going to drop a little preset thing in the fleet chat here. So that's a broadcast setting load. So that's my loadout. So everything is color coded. So everything is a different color. So shooting someone is red. Needing shield is blue. Basically, anything that requires an action as a color. Moving is set to grey. So yeah, killing something, red. Basically, you can alter your broadcast settings, but for now I suggest you leave them all on, especially if you're pretty new. Yeah, leave them all on for now. But yeah, as you become more experienced, you may want to alter this. And there's broadcast settings inside the fleet window. Under the little 3 dots, there's a more button, and there's broadcast settings under there. But I suggest you just leave everything on for now. Okay, so we have our watch list set up. We have our broadcast window up. I think that's pretty much us ready to go out and do some stuff now. Just an important note with broadcasting for shields. Often, if we're moving about in a large group, especially cruisers that are dependent on capacitor for shooting their guns, we will get void bombed by either a structure or a bomber fleet, and that means they will take all of our capacitor away from us, and that stops our ability to repair, to shoot things, to do shield hardening or armor hardening, that sort of thing. If you get bombed, do not broadcast for reps. You're likely to draw the ire of the logistics wing. Usually you just wait for your capacitor to come back up or your shields to recharge that 100 hit points that you were taken down. So don't broadcast for shield unless you really need it. But bomb damage is not a good reason to broadcast for shield. If you're unsure, you could always ask. But generally, if you're getting bombed, yeah, I wouldn't broadcast for reps. Usually the logistics wing have everyone on a watch list anyway, so they can see who needs the shield the most, but yeah, just in case. It's not something that we're going to do today, but if you are getting shot by an enemy, or a large fleet is engaging you, there's a thing called yellow boxed, and I'm sure all of us have probably come across being targeted before, but if someone is targeting you, an enemy, you'll get a little yellow square around their name in your overview. So if a fleet is yellow boxing you, that means essentially you have been called as the primary target for the fleet. And it's important to look out for this because you basically immediately need to broadcast for reps at that point. So the first thing you want to do is broadcast for shield or armor, depending on what type of fleet you're running in. You broadcast first, that gives the logistics wing the opportunity to lock you up and send reps your way, because that takes a little bit of time. And after you do that, then you can turn on your shield modules in your own ship. But you want to broadcast for reps first, always. So that's important. Help the Logi Wing help you, basically, is the name of the game. And the last thing you really want to do before you move out is check what ammo you have loaded. So because everyone will be flying the same ship, usually in a fleet, the FC will want a certain type of ammo loaded. So it's always great to ask the FC, either in voice comms or in the fleet chat, what type of ammo they'd like, or the ammo preload that you want. And the FC will tell you what to load, and you can change your ammo as required. Alright, we're basically ready to go at this point, so what we're going to do is we're going to start moving about. There's a nice space pancake there, a Bargus, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to anchor up. FCs will do this a lot. This simply means keep your FC at range 1,000 meters. So what I'd like everyone to do is to anchor up on me right now, so you can just approach your FC, so you can right click me in your watch list and just press keep at range 1000. So anchoring up is something you should always do if you've come out of warp somewhere and you've landed. It's always best just to automatically anchor up or orbit your FC at 500 meters, but keep at range 1000 is the usual standard kind of thing. So yeah, this is anchoring up, so we can all see I'm at the front and the fleet is behind me. This is a pretty standard kind of formation. This is the point at which we will probably want to go into situational awareness for yourself and your ship. So if you haven't got it on, you should be using the tactical overlay. So I've just put a little pointer in fleet chat for you guys. So that's a little button by your little command little thing at the bottom of the screen where your capacitor and shield and stuff is. If you haven't got that on, turn it on. It's very, very useful. And you generally want to have a kind of a zoomed out view of what your fleet is doing, not rather sort of zoomed in super close on your ship. You want to be zoomed out so you can see, maybe to 30 or 40 or 50 kilometers. And this will do a couple of things. You will notice if you're not moving with the fleet, and then you've probably not done your keep at range properly, or you're falling behind your FC, so maybe you're going a different speed, and maybe you've missed an instruction to turn on your propulsion mod or something like that. Yeah, having situational awareness is very, very important. If you are left behind and you're not aware of your position, the enemy is likely to pick you off first because you're out of position and maybe out of rep range from the logistics wing. So very, very important just to maintain situational awareness. Yeah, important. So we're just going to zoom around the Keepstar grid for a little bit. So I'd like everyone to turn their props mods on, just have them cycling. So you can see you guys are keeping up quite well to my cormorant. You guys are a lot faster than I am, but that's fine. Alright, that's good. I'm just going to change direction here in a sec. So this is just being on anchor, essentially. That's what this is called. I always forget how big keep stars are. They're bloody massive things. Looks like we've got that down pat. That's good. Alright, so next thing you're going to do fairly often is aligning your ship. So I'm assuming everyone knows how to align their ship to something, but it's another matter entirely to be told to align to something. Yeah, we can go props off. It's a great point that Jacob actually kind of is alluding to here. If you have your prop mods on, especially afterburners, you align particularly slowly. So if you are aligning, it's a good habit just to switch your prop off unless your FC is screaming at you to get out of a bubble or something like that, or we're in trouble. But yeah, we'll go props off for now. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone still has their broadcast window open, so I'm going to broadcast and align. So I'm assuming that's popped up for everyone. So what you want to do is you want to right click that broadcast and press align to. We're all aligned. That's awesome. So it's important to align as quickly as possible during a fleet situation. Maybe you're moving through space quickly. Maybe you're aligning out to get safe somewhere. But yeah, aligning quickly is really, really important. Okay, align this broadcast. Excellent. That's really, really good. When you're hopping from gate to gate as well, the FC can sometimes be ahead of you, sort of calling out these things on comms as well. And so sometimes you have to find the gates in your overview. Unfortunately, a C4C system is a mess because of all these mobile depots at the moment because people are memeing, but yeah, we're going to align to some Stargates soon because we're going to go on an adventure. But yeah, aligning is ultra important, and doing a quick align and making sure that your ship is moving in the aligned direction. Because sometimes I've found with my client at least that the command doesn't stick at the first time and you need to do it again. But yeah, very, very important just to make sure you're on the ball with this stuff. Okay, align this broadcast. That's awesome. Well done. Okay, we're going to go somewhere. So I'm just putting a location in fleet chat. Often the FC will give you a destination or a desto to set your destination. So if you could right click that and set destination. Okay, fleet align. Sorry, I was a little late on the broadcast there. Often the align destination may not be said in comms because our comms are full of spies, of course. So the fleet broadcasts are often just referred to as align this broadcast or target this person, just to avoid people hearing. Okay, the next thing the FC will do is warp the group as a fleet. So usually they'll just to make sure everyone is aligned, and they will warp the fleet as a whole group. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so take this fleet warp.
Warp drive active.
Well, looks like we've lost someone. If you didn't catch that, just warp yourself to the GME gate. Okay, we're on a gate. So the FC will often tell you what color the gate is. It's either red or green, and this will tell you whether to jump when you get here or not. So at the moment the gate is red. We do not want to jump. If in that event and the gate is red and you're here, it's good practice just to orbit the gate at 500. Just keeps your ship moving. A moving ship is much harder to hit than a stationary ship. So we're going to orbit the gate 500. Perfect. And when you're in fleet comms, never say the J word. If you say the jump word, someone's going to mishear you and jump the gate before anyone's ready, which could give away a surprise or a tactical advantage we might have. So yeah, never say the J word. Only the FC should be saying the J word. So saying, did he say jump or something like that, someone's going to hear that and go, oh, he said jump, and go. And we all lemming through to our deaths possibly. So yeah, very, very important. So yeah, never do that. But okay, so we're going to say the gate is green, jump, 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 and that's what the FC will say. So jump the gate, please. Up on land, we're going to align 8QM. That's awesome. Generally speaking, unless you're told to, just hold your cloak on the other side of the gate. So you want to stay cloaked. unless the FC has told you to do something. This can be for a few reasons. The FC might need to collect their bearings or figure out where they're going next, because they have a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes they're multi-boxing, scouts or spies or something like that. So it's usually good just to hold your cloak unless you're told otherwise. But we didn't do this time, so we've aligned this gate. Okay, take this fleet warp. Beautiful. Okay, gate is green, jump on contact. So that means we're going to jump through as soon as we get there. Hold your cloak on the other side. Wonderful, very good. Align this broadcast. Take this fleet warp.
Warp drive active.
Gate is red. Everyone's orbiting. That's really, really good. Good stuff. Okay, jump, jump, jump. Okay, we're going to do something a little bit different in this one. We're going to do a cold warp. So sometimes the FC will see some danger and they need the fleet to move pretty quickly. So I'm just going to do that for you now. I'm going to do what's called a cold warp. So this is when the whole fleet isn't aligned, and I've just warped everyone for them, basically. So we've all kind of warped at different times because our align times are different, but I was last to go because I'm in a slower ship. Some of these structure names are good though. Cool, so that's called cold warp. So FC will say either take this cold warp or warp yourself to the structure. Sometimes if they do a cold warp, they will broadcast it afterwards, but we all caught the warp, so I didn't bother, but they will broadcast it afterwards. Alright, we're going to anchor up, please. Excellent. Okay, we're going to align to the next gate, please, which is ITAC U. Take this fleet warp. Gate is green, jump on contact. Align this broadcast. Take this fleet warp. Alright, so I've set up a faux enemy structure in this system ahead of time. Basically just a little mobile depot, but we're going to go and reinforce that, so I hope you all brought some guns. Take this cold warp. Anchor up on land. Okay, I want you to lock up that target, please. Don't shoot yet. Awesome. So, good rule is never start shooting until the FC tells you to. Got the warp scramble on it. Nice one. Structure pointed. Yeah, there could be a few reasons for this. Maybe we want some more portions of the fleet to catch up before we start shooting it, especially if it's an enemy structure, because the enemy will get a notification once we start shooting it. But yeah, don't start shooting until the FC tells you to. If the FC tells you to stop, it's important that you do stop. Alright, if everyone could open fire on the target, please. Alright, so we've reinforced that structure. So you can see a time has been generated there, so exactly 2 days from now, it'll come out of reinforce and we can come back and kill it if we want to, but we're not going to do that. But essentially, this is how a lot of structure bashes will work. If we want to, let's say, shoot a fraternity structure at the moment, we will fly out to their structure, reinforce it, and force them to form up at another time. So yeah, it's cool. But if we're doing a fleet fight and we're shooting another fleet, targets will be called in rapid succession. So it's important that you do cycle off your targets quickly and shoot who you're told to shoot. Especially in fleets like fleets that use artillery or guns, like the ship I'm flying, the Cormorant. We will rely on a heavy alpha strike, so shooting the target with all the guns all at once will usually burst through their reps to destroy the target. And this is one of the great things about the Munin before they changed it, and everyone was using it, of course, but we would alpha through shields of pretty much any target and destroy it before the reps could land. But yeah, it's important to listen to what your FC is telling you. Does anyone still have an aggression timer? So that is in the top left corner, like a little keychain with a red symbol. Has anyone got any aggression left? Yeah, how long on your timer? Okay, so that's just your log off timer. Your aggression timer is a different one. So that's if you'd perform an aggressive act. It's usually a couple of minutes. Nothing much longer than that. Beauty, good stuff. All right, set destination and fleet chat, please. Align to this broadcast. Another good point I've just thought of actually, if you finish shooting something, always reload your guns. It's always handy to just make sure you have full ammo. to shoot the next thing.
Warp drive active.
Take this fleet warp. Gate is green. Jump, jump, jump. Align this broadcast.
Warp drive
Take this
active.
warp. Yeah, some of the FCs in our coalition, in particular Starfleet Commander in Volta, calls targets at such a fast pace. It's really, really hard to keep up. Even I have trouble keeping up. I've been flying with Brave for like 5 years now. The guy wants to kill so much stuff so fast, and he usually succeeds. Okay, so gate is green. Jump, jump, jump. I like how no one lemminged in there. That was great. Align C4C. Take this warp. Okay, this time we're warping to a ping. So often if we're in enemy territory, we'll warp to pings instead of the gate itself. This is to protect the fleet just in case there's something hanging about on the gate. On land, align up, or sorry, down to the gate, please. Take this warp. Gate is green. Jump, jump, jump. Fleet align Keepstar. Take this warp. Alright, we're safely home from our operation, which is great. Alright, so everyone dock up, please.
Docking request.
Awesome. Good job. Everyone was very fast, which is excellent. Aligning quickly and acting quickly is the key to being an effective part of the fleet. Getting left behind is a death sentence, essentially, so it's important that you act fast. Alright, some important points, just while we're sort of at the end of the session. We'll get to some questions in a minute if anyone has any. But some important stuff. Don't shoot anything unless the FC tells you to. There's a lot of factors at play when shooting something, including aggression timers, as we observed. If we trigger an aggression timer, you may be left behind in that system when the FC tries to leave. Maybe a hostile force that's greater is coming in, and if you're sitting there with an aggression timer on a gate, you will die. So it's important to act as the FC tells you to do, because he will try and keep the fleet together. And shooting what you're told to shoot is important because we don't want to split damage. That's poor practice. If we're shooting one target, we all want to be shooting the same target to increase the effectiveness of our fleet. If we're splitting damage, we will likely kill neither target. If you're not clear on who you should be shooting, please speak up because you're probably not the only one who's confused. If you can't fly the mainline doctrine that's prescribed in the fleet, that's okay. You can always fly tackle or E-War, things like Griffins or Maulises. If you are flying these ships, we have dojo classes that do things just for those ships and how to fly them, but essentially if you're flying E-War, you want to be jamming out the logi of the other team to stop them from repairing ships. That's probably your first priority. If you do happen to successfully jam something, tell the FC what you've jammed. Sorry, my dog's scratching there. One of the things in comms, when I've been talking here by myself, but if lots of people are talking and someone says check in comms, that basically means be quiet and listen. No matter what you're talking about, you need to stop immediately and listen to who wants to say something. You usually say that if you have something really, really important to say, or the FC wants to tell the fleet to do something. Fleets are generally pretty social things, and lots of people like to talk about other stuff while we're doing things. But if you want to say something important, you'd want to say check. Have eyes on an enemy fleet 2 jumps away, or something of that nature. Something really, really important that the FC needs to know. One other thing, is just a Brave cornerstone, I guess, is just staying classy while you're fighting, and just represent yourselves and Brave in a good light. Slurs and slander in local chats generally considered not classy behaviour. We're all playing a video game at the end of the day, so if we're throwing insults and slander, it's not a great look for yourself and for Brave. We're the classy team, and we like to represent ourselves very, very nicely, and say thank you to the other teams who've shipped up to fight us, even if they might be attacking us or something. We give good fights in local. We don't use slurs, and this is in direct, I guess, opposition to what Some other alliances do. They like to smack talk in local, and that's what they like to do, and that's their business. But in Brave, we like to stay classy. One other thing we didn't cover: group your guns. So if you have multiple attack modules on your ship, so missiles or guns or lasers, group them together in one group. Never split them. You're just basically reducing your own effectiveness and making more work for yourself trying to click them all at once. So if you don't know how to group them, you just basically drag and drop them all onto the same icon, and they'll group up. When engaging the enemy, always turn on your shield and armor hardeners. This is there to give the Logi Wing a chance to save you, but otherwise you can leave them off. But yeah, if you're uncertain, just always switch them on. If you lose your ship, apply for SRP. Brave has an SRP program, so I believe that is srp.bravecollective.com if I'm not mistaken. Save it on a bookmark on your browser, on your computer. If that's not the correct link, it'll be in the Brave wiki, that's for sure. Yeah, apply for SRP. You always want to put the text of the ping in from Slack into the request, and that just makes it nice and easy for the FCs to approve their SRP requests. Some of the ships we fly are not particularly cheap. They are pretty cheap by other alliances standards, I guess, but for a new bro alliance, 200 million is a fair whack of money to lose on an armor hack. So if you lose a ship, please apply for SRP. That's about all I can think of to say. Has anyone got any questions? I'm just having a look in the fleet chat now. Ship doctrines, yeah, so there's a link there for doctrines. There's also skill plans associated with those doctrines as well, so you want to start at the low SP requirements and make sure you can fly those ships, and just basically tick them off the list. Not all of them are used all the time, but it's important that you can fly them, because sometimes the FCs will go, hey, can you fly this? Okay, awesome, here's a ship for you to fly, and they'll hand you one. But yeah, there are skill plans there. You can essentially copy paste them into Eve, into your skill queue, and it will tell you the skills you're missing. Is there any other questions? Speaking of ship doctrines as well, they are all in the fitting window as well. One of the recent patches to Eve introduced alliance fittings. So you can actually just go into the fitting window, and in hulls and fits, you can there's a little button there for alliance fittings. There's 186 alliance fittings, and this has all of the doctrine stuff loaded into the client directly. So you can go, I need the ship, buy this fit please, and fit it. The ones we tend to use most of are sort of caracals. We use retributions a lot, the Eremor attack frigate, assault frigate rather, sorry. For the bigger stuff, we use the Apocalypse battleship, the Paragon fleet. The ship I'm flying, the Cormorant, doesn't get used as much anymore, but yeah, it gets used every now and then. But the mainline stuff is really the heavy assault cruiser. The sooner you can skill into those, the more effective you'll be. So things like the Underreal Zealot, the Cerberus, and the Eagle are probably the ones you want to focus on. And happily, two of those are in the same ship family, the Caldari cruiser. So Cruiser 5 is definitely worth doing. And these ships, I guess they're a little more expensive. They're pushing 200 million, and in nullsec things tend to cost a little more. But yeah, once you can pretty quickly make that amount of money just with a Vexa or an Ishtar in nullsec. It won't take you very long. There's a question in chat if you're allowed to rat anywhere, or is there places new players should stick to? There is a comprehensive guide to ratting on the wiki, but the general rule of thumb, and I just see so many people not doing this, is not rat in the staging systems. So don't rat in C4C or FTAC-N. It's the content central of the entire game at the moment, our space, so everyone comes here for a fight, and we usually give it to them, and that's why they come. But don't rat in C4C or FTAC-N, usually rat in the surrounding systems. You'll sort of find a system that you like that's got sites that are away from the gates, but you can rat pretty anywhere you like within Fade and Pure Blind. Leadership wants you to rat in Pure Blind to keep the ADMs up, the activity defense multipliers, so it's harder to take over our space. And that's important so we can maintain our space and make sure we have places to rat. I guess that's kind of the point. And in fact, FRT tried to entosis our space, I think was early this morning, I think. So yeah, you can rat anywhere you like, but there are definitely more dangerous places to rat than others, and I would avoid those. But yeah, if you're within a jump or two of staging, that's probably what I would consider ideal. So if something happens, you can jump back to staging if you want to join a quick fleet, or if you're in trouble and you need help, standing fleet can come and help you. Is there any other questions? It's a good question. Where do fleets start? So most fun fleets start in FTAC-N because that's sort of the content playground of the game at the moment. The stratop doctrines, though, like the stratop fleets, always start from C4C. So you should have all of your doctrine ships in the C4C Keepstar. So that's things like your Feroxes and your Cerberuses, all that sort of stuff should be in the C4C Keepstar, and all of your fun stuff and ratting ships should be in FTAC-N. And that's what Jinx wants you to do. If you want to store your stuff somewhere else, that's your prerogative, but your doctrine ships should be in the C4C Keepstar. So Stratops, C4C, others could run from either, but it's usually FTAC-N at the moment. But yeah, you just want to pay attention to the pings, I guess, is where the fleet is starting. Safety. I mean, Brave has friendly fire on as an alliance, so we can shoot each other. And it's always good for a laugh if it's consensual, I guess. But I usually fly with yellow safety, so it stops me from doing really stupid things. But I wouldn't have green on. Green on is a death sentence if you're trying to kill someone that's trying to kill you. Yeah, I'd stick with yellow, or red if you really want to get dangerous, but yellow is a minimum. The trick is turning it back on when you get back to high sec. If you ever go back there, turning it back to green is almost essential to stop yourself from being concorded. Any other questions? Jump freighter service. Yeah, if you're trying to move here or move things about, Brave Alliance has a couple of hauling services. The main one is Brave Little Toaster. Nice nod to the old cartoon, but Brave Little Toaster is an amazing service. I've used it, well, I think everyone uses it all the time to move things from Jita and to here and here back to Jita to sell. Yeah, Brave Little Toaster is amazing. So they do ship to a bunch of different systems. Most of the stuff goes to FTAC-N, and it's only an Ansiblex jump to C4C if you have something you need moved there. But yeah, the jump freighter service is fantastic, and the link has been posted in Fleet there, I can see. But yeah, Brave Little Toaster is a 10 out of 10 amazing service. Alright, I guess we'll leave it there, but I'll just encourage you to be in standing fleet if you're active in space. Be in comms. If you need help, it's easier to say I need help in comms than sit there and type it into fleet while your ship's getting targeted and destroyed by someone. So yeah, be in comms, and you'll learn a lot just by being in comms, because people are theory crafting all the time. Hey, why don't we try this? Have we tried that before? Hey, this guy's messing with me, come and help me. Or I have this ship tackled, this really super expensive ship tackled, come and help me. Yeah, I think just yesterday, just from standing fleet, the guys killed 23 billion worth of battleship just that were out of position, that were roaming our space collecting ESS money. And yeah, we happened to catch them on a gate, and standing fleet whelped them. It was brilliant, and a couple of battleships and pods worth 23 billion. Thanks for coming. I think a few of the guys ran away with $1 billion or $2 billion worth of loot in their cargo, and there's a nice little payday. So being in standing is almost a necessity, I would say. So just even just some learning a lot in there. Two questions there. Heard mention of Brave moving. Brave will be moving to Fade in the near future permanently. This is all in the announcements in Slack, of course. Jinx has put that up, but Fade will be our new home, and Pure Blind is our playground. We will maintain both sets of space, but Fade is where we will live, and Pure Blind is our content area. But yeah, just keep an eye on the announcements channel for that stuff. But yeah, for now we're kind of split between the two regions. Somebody caught people in G8, JV, and Catch. Yeah, so Catch was Brave's home for a couple of years. Wow, like 4 or 5 years back, before we got kicked out, I guess. So people coming back to the game often are in those structures in that system. And I believe the Goons own it now, the Goon Swarm. They're actually pretty sympathetic to that, people coming back to the game, and they'll often help you get your stuff out if you ask them nicely. Or you can just make a break for it, and run for the border. Yeah, I'd actually encourage you to talk to them, because most of them are actually pretty cool guys. So, but yeah, GE8, JV, and Catch was Brave standing back in the Catch region a few years ago. Cool. Yeah, thanks for coming. I will leave it there, and we'll all head back to standing. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to speak up in standing. People will help you all of the time. Brave is a pretty helpful place, and no question is particularly silly. So yeah, just be in standing, and don't be afraid to ask questions or ask for feedback on something you're doing. There are a lot of people will help you. I think Jinx was on just earlier actually talking about the CSM that's happening for them in a few days. She's flying to Iceland for that. But yeah, the FCs are all in standing, just mucking about, having fun, shooting the breeze with everyone. So it's a pretty inclusive place. So if you have questions, yeah, definitely speak up. Cool. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for coming.